Okay, now I'm going to try to do something, and trying is the first step to failure. Man, the truth hurts. So he plays queen e7, confusing the audience. f6, never play f6. That's what I always play. Put it in h. So c4 I actually like, because c4 is always the right move. When I play it, when he plays it, and it's explosive. So white played queen f1, always retreat. Yeah, chess is hard, you start losing. And then he did it again. Okay, now, this game was played in 2011 when Dinglerin was a kid, and therefore, tricks are for kids. He's trying with his passed pawn, but trying is the first step to failure. He takes f5, following my rule, and always play e takes f5, and bishop takes. What's that?
Knife f5.
Knife f5. Following my rule, always sack the exchange. The important rule is that your pawn is on your fifth row.
It's like
and another important rule is their pawn hasn't moved yet. So always sacrifice the exchange. How did Morphy know my rules? I don't know. Always sack the exchange. And by sacrificing the exchange, he maintains the pin on the knight. First the bishop was pinned, now the knight's pinned. And he can play knight to d4, and you can't defend that knight. Frankly terrible. He won the Hikaru Nakamura Sportsmanship Award. I had a student who didn't know how to have bishop and knight, and I was showing them, and they said, bishop and bishop, that's even harder. And I was like, that's harder? What? Okay, bishops are easy because you do whatever you want, right? In fact, I even showed this to TI, and he was like, you do whatever you like. Okay, rook takes, always sack the exchange. Queen c2 check with a fork. Bishop e2 defending his rook. Knight b6. King f2 defending his bishop. He's working on his knight moves. And this is a tough position for black. So he does it again. Then he played it again, and this is a famous win that he had. Now, I wouldn't do this with black, because never play f6, but still, yeah. The truth hurts. If you want excitement, we could play bishop takes b4, and then knight takes e5, confusing the audience. Not the players, but the audience. Calvin has tricks where you would never play e5 if rook takes d5 was a good move. Yeah, now it's the truth hurts. So you almost always play f4 against knight c6. The truth hurts. However, it does stop queen c3 check winning your rook. So he played king to d1, confusing the audience, which is you guys. And the reason he played king d1 instead of knight e2 is twofold. Never play f3, but if he moves his queen around the board, queen takes e4 is good. All right, well, the truth hurts. White can't move any defensive forces in there. If we play rook e1, for example, to play bishop f1, always play bishop f1, well, then f2 is not defended. So the truth hurts. Confusing the audience. Never play f6. Or put it in h. The truth hurts. Yeah, which knight is worse? c4, which is explosive. Always play
king b1.
King b1. So, man, the truth hurts. Okay, so he played rook e3, which is the computer move, and the idea is we check everywhere. So this guy gave up, confusing the audience. Never play f3. Okay, the truth hurts. Always retreat. Never play f3. Oh, man, the truth hurts. Okay, and after the move a3, Ivanchuk played a move that will confuse the audience. And I must say, I've played this way with black myself a long time ago. And that move is bishop f8. Always play bishop f8. And chess is hard. Now he did it again, confusing the audience. And if I was black in this position, a move that I would never play is bishop e7. So now I played for tricks, and they worked because my opponent's an adult. And tricks are for kids. The truth hurts. Trying is the first step to failure. Yeah, the truth hurts. Always play. Okay, so my opponent attacked my pawn, and I had to break my rule, so don't look. Close your eyes. You.
Never play f3.
The FIDE president, Florencio Campomanes, he said, this match has gone long enough. This match is canceled. Confusing the audience. Never play f6. Bishop g7. Put it in h. h4. But it's a blitz game, so the truth hurts. And as you all know, c4 is explosive. So basically, you're going to put it in h, which does nothing, or you're going to play knife f5. And if you saw them move knight f5, you would just say that's idiotic. Well, how did black do against it? The truth hurts. Confusing the audience. Never play f3. Now, the reason she plays queen takes, and the reason you always play queen takes in the opening, if you do. And the truth hurts. So the truth hurts. When they play g4, play b5. Confusing the audience. Never play f3. Black was trying to trade pieces, but black forgot a very important rule. And that rule is always sack the exchange. And the truth hurts. So in this position, if you always play d5, which I do, and then you always play the dragon, and the guy goes here, you've been tricked, unless you already know about this, and you have to have something ready. How do you stop rook g8 mate? Man, the truth hurts. Also, it breaks a very important rule. And more importantly, and confusing the audience, are these two pawns. Bishop e3, never play f6. Then he tucks his king into the corner, king h8, put it in h. And Lasker knew always retreat. But anyway, the truth hurts. I would argue it's explosive. Like always play bishop f8, never play f6. So he played f6, bad. Bishop f8, good. One of my emotes is knife f5. Chess is hard, right? Yeah. Now he did it again. The truth hurts. Geller played the winning move, confusing the audience. Never play f6. Tricks are for kids. And truth hurts. Okay, and I always play knight c6 here, but e6 is more common. Trying is the first step to failure. Always sacrifice the exchange. Two of my rules. Did you also notice the knight's attacked because it's not pinned anymore? The truth hurts, right? Yeah. Takes. Confusing the audience. Because the rook on e8 is defending the queen and the knight. White has a lot of pawns attacked and passed. Never play f6. The truth hurts. What's wrong with me? Always play bishop f8. So anyway, so in this game, Karyakin followed my rule. So man, the truth hurts. And if you play rook takes b4, your rook is trapped, confusing the audience. If he plays the move you should never play,
f6 or f3.
f3, I can't take on f3 because he trades queens and takes my rook. Or he put it in h. Wants to play g4. Exactly. The truth hurts. Yeah. Explosive, right? Yeah. You see how f5 is weak? So Petrosyan wants to put his knights here and then put his knights on f5, or as I like to say,
Knife f5.
Knife f5. The truth hurts, right? And they played a million moves, and a queen's gambit declined, confusing the audience. Okay, Artemiev played f3. Always play f3. Never play f6. The truth hurts. Breaking my rule, always retreat. Confusing the audience. Man, the truth hurts. Never play f3. Always play bishop f8. Okay, the truth hurts. Chess is hard. Then he did it again. So bishop g8 check, confusing the audience. And then he traded on h7. And he played knife f5. If you don't play g6, the truth hurts. I would never play tactics here. Put it in h, trying to get space advantages on both sides of the board. You know why? Kasparov's old and tricks are for kids. According to Spencer, they're all frankly terrible. Okay, I played the French because I always play the French. The truth hurts. King c7, c4 is explosive. Confusing the audience, which is us. And trying was the first step to failure. The truth hurts. And one of the reasons you never play f6 is you weaken this diagonal. He wants to put his knight on e3. Now, even though I hadn't started streaming in the 1970s, it's still time to sack everything and mate. Bishop h4 and rook f3. Always sack everything. The truth hurts. So know what time zone you're in. And if you're playing in a chess tournament in real life and it's over the wrong period of time, daylight savings time, make sure you show up to the right time for the round on Sunday. He doesn't always play like that. Queen takes f3, confusing the audience. The truth hurts. You would never play this move. That's what he played. Man, the truth hurts. And I always play white. You can't play rook f1 because then white follows my rule. Always play bishop f1. Okay, black broke my important rule, never play f6. White agreed, never play f3. Now during the game, I thought about playing this move, confusing the audience.
Oh.
And then check, and then this fork. Never play f6. And the truth hurts. Queen b5, put it in h. Bishop c8, always retreat. Okay, then the truth hurts, right? Yeah. e4, which is explosive. And in this position, Kasparov resigned. Okay, and now after all the trades and so forth, if they happen, white has 2 pawns for the exchange, knight f5 is coming, and or knight g4. Black has no passed pawns. White's king isn't really open anymore because no pieces on the board. And then e6, confusing the audience. Always play bishop f8. Now he defends his queen with rook e3. Never play f6. And the truth hurts. So chess is hard. So he knew that I knew that he knew I did it again. So the truth hurts. And he played f4, confusing the audience. Close Sicilian means you never play d4. Always play bishop f1. Some say carries, like he carries the chess pieces, although he doesn't do that anymore. And the truth hurts. And now black played for tricks because tricks are for kids. Harsh, right? Yeah, the truth hurts. Obviously, d5 is the idea, but maybe Stratton was worried about the tactical knight takes d5, confusing the audience. Never play f3, and the truth hurts. Typically, white plays either d4 or c4, and sometimes plays both. And when they play c4, they almost always play d4. They play d4, they don't always play c4, but sometimes. And the knight keeps moving around. So put it in h. See, trying is the first step to failure. And in this position, he sacrificed the exchange because always sacrifice the exchange. So he knows my rules. So he always played what move? Always play it. Man, the truth hurts. Bishop takes h4, confusing the audience. c4, that's explosive. And he should play the move you would never play. Bam! And then the truth hurts. Always play bishop f8. Yeah, now the truth hurts. So that's why he lost the game, was because when he had the isolated pawn left, he did everything to defend it. And as we started confusing the audience, there's no isolated pawns. Right? Never play f3, which opens up this diagonal for the bishop and defends the e4 square. That's amazing that knight f3 retreating, always retreat is the winning move. Fortunately, when I go here check, you'll be like, oh. Then the truth hurts. Always play bishop f1. And in this position, Capablanca was forced to break my rule, so obviously he lost the game. If you have to break my rule, then you're in trouble. So this king is basically stuck here, and then we can use our king for that. So now I use my king. Yeah. Man, the truth hurts. Yeah. Harsh, right? Okay. And I guess I would go here so I have the opposition. It doesn't matter. Okay. This is a weirder question. Confusing the audience. I would never play bishop e6. So chess is hard, isn't it? Okay. And now, in 1849, that's when Britney Spears started getting popular, right? The kids were like, who's that? And unfortunately, black said, oops, I did it again. So she can't leave the back row. And the truth hurts. Okay, castles, put it in h6, stopping knight g5. Okay, so always sack the exchange. Yeah, the truth hurts. Always play bishop f8 and checkmate. Confusing the audience. Explosive, right? Bishop takes, rook takes, knife f5. Always play knife f5. Doesn't create a passed pawn, and never play f3. Yeah, the truth hurts. And it's really weird because usually tricks are for kids. And then I analyzed it with Stockfish 14, and the truth hurts. Yeah. I was on an airplane in maybe 1994, and I had a chess book, like one of these books, and it was a hardcover book from the 70s in descriptive notation, confusing the audience. Always play King B1, and then promote to a queen. By the way, I would never play knight D7 here because I'd be too afraid my knight gets trapped. The truth hurts. You can try, but trying is the first step to failure. It's a very important rule. Confusing the audience. The truth hurts. Never play f6. Queen a5. Always play. King b1. It's one of my rules. h4, put it in h. Right, the truth hurts. Right? So, in the end game, if you move your king up like I taught you, and you don't leave your king on the back rank, and it's funny, when I told my son I was going to lecture on Capablanca endgames, of course he asked me. Okay, and then always retreat with checkmate. Why did black just give up a pawn? The reason is he wants to play knight e8, confusing the audience. All right, so the truth hurts. Knight e5, f6, never play f6. c4 is explosive.
Always play king b1.
Always play king b1. Yeah, the truth hurts, right? Yeah, you're right. Tall should be trying to attack, trying to advance his pawns, trying to get counterplay, and he played queen g3, trading queens, confusing the audience. He's like, that guy's no good, and I hate that guy, you know. So, yeah, the truth hurts. Man, chess is hard. Okay, and now she did it again. And you could do a spite check, queen e5, but then never play f6, and then there's the mate thread again. The truth hurts. Bishop f1, always play bishop f1. And my rule is when you're losing or you're worse, you trade all the pawns off. So they're trading all the pieces, confusing the audience. The truth hurts, right? Yeah. Never play f3. Put it in h, and now the pièce de résistance. Tal made a move, and his opponent resigned. Now his opponent played for tricks, but tricks are for kids. Frankly terrible. Yeah, the truth hurts. Black can't do anything. Always play bishop f1. Confusing the audience. Yeah, the truth hurts. Never play f3. Okay, so g4, c5, I attack you, you attack me. g5, c4, which is explosive. Queen g3, knife f5. Wow, that's a good move. The truth hurts. So he did something confusing the audience. It doesn't have great places to go. So I actually agree with bishop f8. Always play bishop f8. He tried to defend, but trying is the first step to failure. One thing I've pointed out a lot in many of my lectures, my classes, my private lessons, when I'm streaming online, is if you've watched my stream, I say things like always sacrifice the exchange. My rules aren't so stupid. The truth hurts. There are a lot of children who are beginners who will never play king f7 because you have to castle. Okay, if he plays king h3, putting it in h, always retreat. And then after queen f5 check, the truth hurts because rook e8 mate, you can pre-move it. Always. Anybody?
Sack the exchange.
Always sack the exchange. So he played c5 or e5, confusing the audience. The truth hurts. C takes d4, knight takes, queen b6, king b1, always play king b1. What's the move you would never play here? That's the answer. You'd never play it. So black has a big attack, and these pieces aren't doing a good job defending. Put it in h, h3, queen back to g6, and you got to watch it here. You got to. The truth hurts. Confusing the audience. Man, chess is hard. Then he did it again. But sometimes, not often, I play at my full strength, and then the truth hurts. Never play f6. Very specific rule. And now I made a move which goes against my rules, but that's okay, because that proves the exception proves the rule. Okay, so knight h6, f6. Always play f6. c4 is explosive, which you get and he doesn't. So I play king d6, check, king c5, bishop f8 check. The truth hurts. The engine wants me to play knight d4, confusing the audience. Man, the truth hurts. Botvinnik played rook b1, always sack the exchange. And he played f3, never play f3. Following my rule, always play bishop f8. And now I tricked him because tricks are for kids. Spencer saw me do it yesterday and he's like, what are you doing? Okay, and in fact, if either player had followed my rule, then the game would have been turned out differently. That's an important rule, especially when the lecture's over. Yeah, the truth hurts, right? And they played a million moves, and a Queen's Gambit declined, confusing the audience. I was 9 years old, so I didn't know about never play f6. The truth hurts. Rook h3, put it in h. Always play bishop f1. The truth hurts. Confusing the audience. Okay, and the idea is we have double discovered check when he takes the queen, which he has to. And we play bishop g5 check, and this is double check. The most obvious move for white is bishop b1, always retreat. I would never play g5 here. Bishop takes d5 check. The truth hurts. And your queen's hanging, so you can't take with the knight, because I take your queen. Yeah, Karen wants to watch the stream too, so she's hooking up the TV, and then it won't work, but trying is the first step to failure. I would call it an explosive plan. So this bishop's hanging out to dry, and there's no knight f5. But as the game continues, the position isn't blocked, then the truth hurts. About 40 years ago, 50 years ago, international master Danny Kopek, who also died a few years ago, he invented the Kopek system, bishop d3, confusing the audience. Although he inserted his check first, always play king b1. I would never play this move now. Man, the truth hurts. Man, chess is hard. He did it again. Man, the truth hurts. Confusing the audience. In this position today, grandmasters usually play c takes d5, but I always play knight to d2. Never play f3.
Why doesn't he just castle?
And the truth hurts. Bishop g4, put it in h. And as I like to say, the truth hurts. Knight to d3, confusing the audience. Remember, never play f3.
Oh.
Bishop c5, bishop b5 check. Man, truth hurts. Now you still get credit for king b1 because you always play king b1. All right. Man, the truth hurts. I guess tricks are for kids. However, he did not play king d5 because Calvin made an explosive move. c4, confusing the audience. Truth hurts. One is always sack the exchange. f3, never play f3. Then you know what you've done. Although, since usually it's longer after you die, and the truth hurts. King b1, always play king b1. a4, following my rule. Always play a4 and they play b5. Always retreat, attacking the g-pawn. So they're trading all the pieces, confusing the audience. Then the truth hurts. But Richard Rady, even in 1910, knew never play f3. The truth hurts. Develops calmly, always play king b1, put it in h. Put it in h. Trying is the first step to failure. Anybody? What's that? Always sacrifice the exchange. Okay? And the only way to find this move, if you're an intermediate player, is to just say all of my rules and randomly follow one of them. So they had a quintuple round robin confusing the audience with 5 players. The truth hurts. Never play f6. And the truth hurts. So chess is hard, isn't it? Okay, and Fabi's like, whatever, bishop e1, no problem. Then you'll be like, hey, you did it again. So you always play king b8 in these positions. He played knight d5, confusing the audience.
Explosive.
Or as I like to say, knife f5. The truth hurts. Okay, never play f3. He played f3, breaking a very important rule. Never play f3. Because the truth hurts. Knight a5, confusing the audience. Always play bishop b1. Man, the truth hurts. Never play f6. What do you think of that rook? The truth hurts. He would put it in h. Now the young people are going to like this, but the old people won't, because tricks are for kids. Black's position's frankly terrible. Confusing the audience. Oh. The truth hurts. But white's position here is very, very, very suspicious. Bishop h6, bishop f8. Always play bishop f8. You would never play this move. So white played here, always retreat. So the truth hurts. Now, black played d6, confusing the audience. Although c4 is explosive. And then when the move is made, you instantly realize, oh no, what have I done? And the truth hurts. You know why?
Oh,
because this was 1976, and I didn't have the never play f3 going. Knight f4, always play bishop f1. By following my rule, all the GMs in the world praised him while he was doing it. The truth hurts. Confusing the audience. Trying is the first step to failure. The truth hurts. Yeah. Also, I never play well because Weird Al didn't teach me that. Chess is hard. They did it again. King b1, always play king b1. This is where Lizzo got her inspiration for this song, The Truth Hurts. Even though it's Truth Hurts. He put it in H. And probably Petrosian was surprised by that because the queen, which wants to come in here, can't come in there. Every square protected. Now, if it was black's turn to move, which it's not, black could play knight c4 check, confusing the audience. The truth hurts. White sacks the exchange, probably based on the theory, always sack the exchange. Okay, and basically, h3 is like, f3, which you should never play, also loses to knight e3. And the truth hurts.
5.
Now, if you've watched my lectures, you know, always play. He played knight d5, confusing the audience. And the variation is after c4, which is explosive. I played a more explosive move. This knight wants to go to f5, knight f5, and I open up my rook on the f file. Man, the truth hurts. And I guess this idea was stolen from beginner chess players. Okay, because grandmasters would never play a passive move like bishop d2. And so eventually, the truth hurts. Okay? The guy did the C stalemate. Tricks are for kids. Confusing the audience. And against this, I always play that. Now, to prove that Keres wasn't cheating with an engine, usually 1965 would prove that, he didn't play the engine move here, which is going all the way back to c1. Always retreat. And the truth hurts. That's probably not a move I would play, but I like it because he's considering playing f3, which again, never play f6. The truth hurts. h5, put it in h. Confusing the audience. Always play bishop f1, always play king b1, never play f3. And he knows one of my more important sayings, always sacrifice the exchange. The truth hurts. Never play f6. He's holding on to his center. And he sacrifices the exchange basically because always sacrifice the exchange. The truth hurts. Confusing the audience. Okay, the truth hurts. I never play here at the chess center. Let's say you always play knight f6. And you always get this position with black.
C4?
C4 is explosive. Yeah. Yeah, chess is hard. And then he did it again. Black played bishop g4, and white followed my rule. If you play f6, breaking a very important rule about never playing f6, you just lose material. Always sacrifice the exchange. After king h7, Lasker, again following my rules, always repeat. He never won the Nakamura Sportsmanship Award. And then black played knight to d5, confusing the audience. But the truth hurts. Never play f3. So it looks like everybody's okay. But the truth hurts. Always play king b1. Rook takes d6, confusing the audience. Put it in h. And what do I like to say? The truth hurts. It says never play f3. The truth hurts. No? Always retreat. Always play bishop f8. Right, his name's Botvinnik. His name's not Joe Smith, right? So he plays the craziest move you've ever seen. Confusing the audience, but not Reshevsky. Fortunately, tricks are for kids. So now the truth hurts. Now I'm wearing the never play f6 shirt, okay? And the reason I'm wearing it is I knew we would look at this game, and therefore I didn't wear the never play f3 shirt. The truth hurts. I would call it an explosive plan. Now in this position, if you were playing a blitz game, you would play knife f5 without thinking. Knife f5. Confusing the audience. Okay, always play bishop f1. If you do know chess, then the truth hurts. Never play f3. Always sack the exchange. The truth hurts. Bishop takes e4, confusing the audience. King h1, put it in h. Smothered me. And, or as I like to say, the truth hurts. Could somebody on the internets or in the live audience, what's the best move for white?
Always play king b1.
Always play king b1 is close, but you know you're like 1/3 right because the king move. So Chess is hard. And then he did it again and sacked another queen on b1. Never play f3. Some people think Anand should be playing, but the truth hurts. Trying is the first step to failure. I've played e5, confusing the audience. Kramnik, the truth hurts. Always play bishop f8. That breaks my rule never trade. Knight d5, queen c5, queen e2, f6, never play f6. Okay, so that was a very bad start for Anish, but that's the truth hurts. c4, that's explosive. Confusing the audience, although confusing Caruana. And that's it, white wins. All right, well, the truth hurts. You forgot my always retreat mantra. Never play f3. All right. So you guys thought I was rooting for the Chicago Cubs, but never play f3. Always play king b1. The truth hurts. Confusing the audience. h3, put it in h. Bishop h5. However, some lower ranked players like to play for tricks, especially if they're children, because tricks are for kids. What can I tell you? Frankly, terrible. The truth hurts. Okay, f6, never play f6. So now you know the result of the game. See, if I play knight check and you move your king out and I play the other knight check, the truth hurts. Okay, he played a line that I knew really well and I have a novelty in that I always play. Confusing the audience. Yeah, the truth hurts. f6, breaking a very important rule, never play f6. He plays f6, not realizing there's a rule, never play f6. Okay, but, that's the truth hurts. So he attacked the knight. c4, which is explosive. Blocking his bishop. Knight f5. And Kramnik played rook f2 check, confusing the audience. Always play bishop f8. Yeah, chess is hard. Morphy did it again. The truth hurts. Never play f6. And then after check, I go here and the truth hurts. If he plays the obvious c3, now I play a3. Confusing the audience. Bishop f8, always play bishop f8. Put it in h. He wants to play h5, h6, and he wants to get loof for his king. So h4 is a good move. So he tried, but as you all know, trying is the first step to failure. So sort of like always sacrifice the exchange. That's stupid, but that's my rule. Now, one of my rules is if you fianchetto your bishop, you can't trade your bishop. Well, the truth hurts. Close to silly means you never play d4. Okay, yeah, the truth hurts. And not only were the three Polgars playing in the tournament, the dad was also playing. Confusing the audience.
Always retreat.
Always retreat. You can't just always play the exact same way. That's actually why c3 is bad, and now black can follow my rule of always sacrificing the exchange. The truth hurts. Anyway, now Hort playing f3, terrible. Never play f3. Queen takes g5. The knight blocks the rook. Rook d3, terrible. Now,
why wouldn't white just play bishop e2 and get the knight out of there? Would black sack the exchange and be worse?
Always sack the exchange. Man, the truth hurts. In this position, black played queen d8, confusing the audience, right? Let's say instead, black didn't confuse the audience and played rook d8. So if you have the white pieces and you like playing the English opening and you like playing c4, which obviously is explosive, then your opponents won't know it as well as they do e4 and d4 because they face that more often. You know why? Because Kasparov's old and tricks are for kids. The truth hurts. I always play e6 in this position, and most GMs play g6. I would never play king h1 or think of king h1.
Bishop takes f2.
Bishop takes f2 check, confusing the audience. The truth hurts. So you have to move your king, put it in h, king h8. Yeah, the truth hurts. Never play f6. Okay. Long castle, a3, king b8, always play king b8. Instead, she played by far the best move, confusing the audience, which was me. Yesterday in the World Checkers Championship, the Russian player had their flag taken away during the match while they were playing. So, yeah, the truth hurts. Man, chess is hard. Then they did it again, the same thing happened. So, the truth hurts. You can't play f6, never play f6, and it's illegal. Always play the same trick. White played bishop h6, confusing the audience. Truth hurts. And now I made the most explosive move in the position. Knight f5, wow, that's a good move. Doesn't work, because trying's the first step to failure. The truth hurts. Never play f6. Okay, so he played king f1, always retreat, and he castled because he wants to take the knight, right? Now, confusing the audience, ready to be confused? I put her third. Man, the truth hurts. Queen b1 check. Always play bishop f1. And rook f8 attacks the bishop on f1, which would be mate. h4, put it in h. So the truth hurts. Never play f3. Confusing the audience. Yeah, the truth hurts. Then f6. Always play f6. Threatening queen g7 mate and pawn takes queen. Tricks are for kids. That's why he got it right. Yeah. That's actually why c3 is bad. And now black can follow my rule of always sacrificing the exchange, breaking a very important rule. Never play f6. Never play f3, but it stops Caruana from playing knight e4 later. So the truth hurts. What? Okay, confusing the audience. The truth hurts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I've lost games in St. Louis to other grandmasters, but in Georgia I only lost one game. So you start with c4 because c4 is explosive, right? Always play king b8. His opponent played f6, never play f6. Now the truth hurts. Then chess is hard and everybody cries. Black did it again. Anyway, so here, black can play knight bd7, confusing the audience. Man, the truth hurts. Kasparov played knight f3, knight e7, put it in h, attack on the king side. Never play f3. Queen a5, always play king b1. This is against Magnus Carlsen, and I'm only going to show you the opening, because when the opening ended, Magnus was lost. And the truth hurts. Confusing the audience. Rook f6, always sack the exchange. Bam! The truth hurts. Nigel played b5. Rook b3 check. King a4. And now a beautiful finishing move. Always retreat. How did I play the best move here? I would never play the best move here now. So I got worse. Man, the truth hurts. I used to play the Petrov a lot in the 80s. And so for good practice, which move should you make so that you always play the right move? You should always go here because you always go straight back. I mean, Serrana's a really strong player, but he got beat really badly. And after bishop h2, trying is the first step to failure. And then he sacrifices the rook, although since he's winning the bishop on b4, he's only sacrificing an exchange. Always sacrifice the exchange. My rules. Confusing the audience. Man, the truth hurts. And after c5, this actually will make a lot of sense to the class c4, because c4 is explosive.
Knight f5.
Exactly. Bishop a6. Okay, now if black wants to attack the white king side, can't play f6, mainly for the reason never play f6. So Wesley So's like the third highest rated player in the world, so the truth hurts. Yeah. Confusing the audience. Always play king b1. Man, the truth hurts. You put it in h, you play h4 and g4, and I've actually seen MVL do that. And Calvin said, Enrico, tricks are for kids. According to Spencer, they're all frankly terrible. So bishop c5, the two bishops, never play f3. Man, the truth hurts. Confusing the audience. Always play the Dutch. Now, king e8 makes a lot of sense because he's trying to follow my rule, Archer. You know all my rules. Very good. Always play bishop f8. So the truth hurts. Never play f6. Chess is hard. It doesn't always work. Now I did it again. Truth hurts. Anybody? The trickiest move? Confusing the audience. Man, the truth hurts. Always play king b1. Right. That's explosive. I have a rule, never play f6. The truth hurts. And we're threatening bishop takes rook checkmate. Not check, checkmate. Not check, checkmate. Using the audience. Bishop goes back to e7, always retreat. Yeah, that's the truth hurts. Then I put it in h, play knight f5. Now, when I have white in this position, I almost always play the bayonet attack. So maybe that's what Morphy was planning, but he played f6, never play f6. Man, the truth hurts. How are we going to kick this queen out? Then the queen's going to go here and checkmate, confusing the audience. Does anybody want to try to defend with black? You can try, but trying is the first step to failure. Okay, he plays f3, breaking a very important rule. The truth hurts. Never play f6 checkmate. When a bishop pins a knight and the pawn's attacking the knight, then you always play h6. Otherwise, you lose a piece. All right. Then he played queen b1, confusing the audience, because c2 looks more natural. How do you stop rook g8 mate? Man, the truth hurts. One trick that I play sometimes, and it has worked because tricks are for kids, okay, is in this position, e5, instead of castling, I'll play this move. The truth hurts. Never play f3. White should play c4 because it's explosive. Knight h4, not only can you play knight f5, but your queen on d1 has this open diagonal now to attack the king, and black's pieces aren't doing a good job defending the black king. White made a move here, and black resigned, confusing the audience. And you're like, what do? I always play the Sicilian. Truth hurts. Okay, and always sack the exchange. He put it in h3. This takes g5. Man, the truth hurts. Opponent's like, chess is hard. So I'm still up that pawn, and then I did it again. I threatened f7. He defended it with his rook, and now he's attacking e3, and we did it again. They traded, and now f6, never play f6. Confusing the audience. And then, the truth hurts. And I played f6, always play f6. I played f3, breaking my rule, never play f3. The truth hurts. He saw those other games he played. He's like, I could beat this guy. Okay, always retreat, never play f3. And famous finish. Always finish famously. Queen e3, confusing the audience. And the truth hurts. And black has to realize you can't always play the opening you want if the guy plays a move order you don't understand. The truth hurts. That's why I don't have white in the Sicilian, never play f3. The first thing told it was play an explosive move, and the a-pawn cannot be defended, or so you thought. White defended the a-pawn, confusing the audience, the YouTube audience, the people here, the people on the internet. The truth hurts. Always play bishop f8. h1, put it in h. Trying is the first step to failure. He sacrifices the exchange. Always sacrifice the exchange. His rules don't make any sense, right? Yeah. See, my rules make dollars. His rules don't make any sense. Yeah, when I played rook a3, the truth hurts. Never play f3, indicating he might want to play e4 later, or just stop black from getting his knight to e4. We take on h3, confusing the audience. Are you confused or you agree?
I agree.
Yeah. Now the pawn's pinned, so the game's over. By the way, I want to point out if king g8, then, the truth hurts. Now he played for tricks because tricks are for kids. But the truth hurts. Always play f3, never play f3. Confusing the audience. He's playing John O'Hanlon, and we've never heard of John O'Hanlon, and I guess if you look at the game, you'll realize why you've never heard of John O'Hanlon. And the truth hurts. Man, chess is hard. If I take the rook, it's stalemate. So I didn't take the rook, and he did it again. See what I'm saying? The truth hurts. Never play f6. Always play king b1, bishop b4, pinning the knight, and c5, confusing the audience. Now c4 is explosive. So you want to play knight f5, or said correctly, knight f5. The truth hurts. Defending by x-ray, confusing the audience. Queen to d8, always retreat. He wants to defend this diagonal more. Knight g4, b4, and up until now, the players are playing about the same strength, and I guess white is slightly better. Knight h4, put it in h. Man, the truth hurts. And if you play bishop f8, always play bishop f8. That's even worse. Bishop on g7, controlling a1. Bishop f5. F3, never play F3, stopping black from playing knight e4. H5, you can see if black plays like a normal developing move, then the bishop is trapped. Magnus likes solid, safe, easy to play, and he played d4, confusing the audience. Always play rook f6. a4 following my rule, that was good. And I played e4, and he played f6, breaking a very important rule. The truth hurts. Remember, never play bishop f8. Man, the truth hurts. So he played knight takes e4, confusing the audience. Check, always play king b1. Yeah, the truth hurts. And in this position, the engine wants me to play rook takes f3, which in a blitz game, I would play now without thinking. Always sack the exchange. Okay, never play f3. Rook d1, rook g8. The truth hurts. So I did my best, but trying is the first step to failure. Confusing the audience. Like played c4, which is explosive, obviously, but it's hanging the d4 pawn. And now the truth hurts. He didn't realize one of my famous sayings, always play bishop f8. Put it in h. And then this is very nice. I'll show you a funny trick because
Tricks are for kids.
tricks are for kids. Frankly, terrible.
Never play F3.
Never play f3. And then, sometimes the truth hurts. Confusing the audience. Yeah, chess is hard, you start losing. And then he did it again. Man, the truth hurts. Boy, those guys are pretty good, right? What's the number one move?
King G1.
That's what he played. Why those guys always play the number one move? That's not very nice. Okay, knight g4. White's played h4, so he gave up the g4 square. Knight h2, kicking the knight out. f6, never play f6. Very young, 59. Pretty young to die, but the truth hurts. Now the queen's trapped, confusing the audience. Always retreat. The truth hurts. One is to never play d5. When I play the London with white, which I don't, I always play e takes d4. How does white avoid losing a piece? Confusing the audience.
H3.
Well, the truth hurts. c4 is explosive. Knife f5. The truth hurts. Put it in h. And black will never play queen d1 check when you play king g2. So he did something confusing the audience. The truth hurts. I always play queen c2 mate in this opening. Spencer saw me do it yesterday and he's like, what are you doing? Okay, and in fact, if either player had followed my rule, then the game would have been turned out differently. Yeah, the truth hurts. Okay, and now he broke a very important rule. Well, he broke two rules. He resigned, never resigned, and he should always play. You know the answer. Always play. Never play f3. And so after rook e1 check, the computers would give some crazy number confusing the audience. Even though they were kidding, the truth hurts. Always play knight g8. Trying is the first step to failure. So I sacrifice the exchange. Always sacrifice the exchange. Okay, one of my rules is you must sacrifice the exchange. So basically the truth hurts. He played for tricks, but tricks are for kids. f6, never play f6. Knight f4. And now, after bishop f1, which you should always play, you can see white's playing very passively. Okay, and Evans played queen g8 check, confusing the audience. However, if he doesn't play queen d7, the truth hurts. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, chess is hard, isn't it? Yeah. Did it again. He finally fights in the center. Castles, queen e7, always play king b1, a6, knight c1, and long castle. One of my sayings is c4 is explosive, because c4 is explosive. Man, the truth hurts. Queen d8, always retreat. But I did know how to put it in h. Even 30 years ago, I could put it in h. f3, never play f3. This is the 11 o'clock first class, also known as the third class, confusing the audience. Okay, black broke my important rule, never play f6. White agreed, never play f3. So the truth hurts. Now, this is something most of you don't take into account. When you come to our chess center and you see an IM, you're like, ooh, okay? And maybe that's because you saw a ghost. Always play king b8, even though that's not the rule. The truth hurts. Always sack the exchange. And you can see, when I say always sack the exchange, and you guys are laughing at me, You see how sometimes the rooks are as impotent as the Nevada boxing commissioner, and the minor pieces are pretty good. But if the queen's on b7, then you can never play rook takes knight, it's defended. And when they play g4, play b5, confusing the audience. Anyway, the truth hurts. The truth hurts. And I know that truth from my own 1980s life. Grandmasters always play d5 here. f6, never play f6, so his bishop can drop back. Okay, and in this position, Fischer played bishop takes d6 check, confusing the audience. So the truth hurts. Which move is the greatest? I don't know, probably c4 because it's explosive. f5, knight c3 retreating, and Haratonov wants a draw. Man, the truth hurts. Okay, put it in h.
6?
Yeah, never play f6. How are we going to kick this queen out? Then the queen's going to go here and checkmate, confusing the audience. Check, always play king b1. And they played out the game, making my rule never play f3. Man, the truth hurts. Yeah, trying is the first step to failure. Man, the truth hurts. He forgot tricks are for kids. Yeah, I tricked you. Never play f3. Confusing the audience. He was like equal, slightly worse, clearly worse, lost. And he became world champion that tournament. And he was white. So chess is hard. And now, black, Britney Spears style, did it again. And then people like us are like, wait, knight c4, a4, what do I do? Yeah. And I think if you play a6 early, you can always play bishop a7. Yesterday, at 8 in the morning, he was number 4 in the world. But the truth hurts, he keeps losing, right? So he's going down 3 spots. Knight gets to d3. Always retreat. And the truth hurts. You.
Never play f6.
Correct. Confusing the audience. Now the truth hurts. Okay. So king h6. King f8. Always play king f8. Now c4 is explosive. Harsh, right? Yeah, the truth hurts. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Or I could put it in h. Okay, then you always say never play f6. This is the 11 o'clock first class, also known as the third class. Confusing the audience. Yeah, now the truth hurts. And even knowing that, I always play bishop d2, because I don't agree. The truth hurts. Okay, f6, never play f6. Confusing the audience. Man, the truth hurts. And he probably figured, I'll put my king on b1, always play king b1. I mean, I know Laquan Lean, we both lived in St. Louis. He knows always play king b1. So the truth hurts. Why is that wrong? Never play f6. One of my rules. Confusing the audience. The truth hurts.